Hello everyone. In the last lecture, we studied the set Zn, which is the set of residue classes of integers modulo n. And towards the end, we also learned how to compute the equivalence class of any element, any integer for that matter, so that ultimately you get an equivalence class of an element which lies between 0 and n minus 1. Let me quickly once again explain what happens. I have taken Z6 as the example. However, suppose I take Z10 as my example. Then I know that it will have 10 equivalence classes starting from 0 bar up to 9 bar. And in this set, always keep an eye on this suffix. So on this set, if I intend to find out what is 23 bar, then I need to look at this suffix 10. Take a multiple of 10 which is closest to 23 but on the underside of 23. So 10 twos is 20. You subtract 20 from 23. So 23 minus 20 will give me 3 bar. If I want to find out what is 97 bar, then I take a multiple of 10 which is closest to 90 on the which is closest to 97 on the underside of it. 10 nines is 90. So 97 minus 90 will give me 7 bar. So that's how we do our calculations. Now keeping this in mind, I am going to define the operation of addition modulo n on Zn. Addition modulo n is denoted by plus n, and in Zn, if I take any two residue classes, then we define addition modulo n of a bar and b bar as this side. It's not just the usual plus, it is a new operation. Remember, it is an operation which is defined between two equivalence classes. And what are equivalence classes? They are not just usual or regular numbers. They are actually sets. So I am now defining an operation between two sets. So obviously it cannot be the usual addition. This operation that I am defining is called as addition modulo n, and it is defined as, however, note that a and b are integers. So I look at a and b, I add them. This is the usual addition of integers. So I add the integers a and b by taking the usual operation of addition of integers, and then I take the equivalence class of this element. So if I have to look at some examples, let's see what is 3 bar plus say 1 bar. It is addition modulo 7. This means that the addition is taking place in Z7. So look at the way it is defined. You take the integers 3 and 1, add them as usual integers. 3 plus 1 is going to be 4, and then you take the equivalence class of that. So 3 bar addition modulo 7, 1 bar will become 4 bar. However, if I have say 3 bar addition modulo 7, 5 bar, first let's just use this. So 3 plus 5 and then bar of this. 3 plus 5 is 8. So I get 8 bar. But in Z7, I would like to have my answer as the bar of something between 0 and 6. So I need to simplify this. Now since this is happening in Z7, you subtract 7 from it. So 8 minus 7 is going to give me 1 bar. So that is how the operation of addition modulo n goes. We will now look at the operation of multiplication modulo n. I was trying to save some effort. Okay. So let's look at multiplication modulo n. The operation of multiplication modulo n is denoted by cross n. We take any two elements a bar and b bar in Zn, and we define the operation of multiplication modulo n as Again, A and B are integers. So we look at A and B as integers. Use the usual operation of multiplication of integers. So this operation that I have written on the right hand side is the usual addition, is the usual multiplication of integers. And then we take the power of this. So let's look at the same examples for multiplication modulo 7. This time we are dealing with multiplication. So 3 into 1. You multiply these integers first and then take the bar. So that will give me 3 bar. Next, multiply 3 with 5. Take the bar of this. 3 5s is 15. So this will be 15 bar. But I must simplify this. So because again it's happening in Z7, I look at a multiple of 7 which is closest to 15 but on the underside of 15. 7 2s is 14. 15 minus 14 is 1. So this product is going to be equal to 1. So we will talk about these operations being binary operations and their other properties in chapter 1 when we actually study binary operations. But at least it's a good thing to be familiar with these operations, because these are, we will be coming across this set Zn as well as these operations fairly often. There's one other thing that I would like you all to know about Zn. Again, I can only tell you about it partly in this chapter. We will discuss more about it in chapter 1. So look at Zn. Let me take a specific example. Look at Z8. Z8 contains 8 elements in all, ranging from 0 up to 7. Now look at the integers below the bars, 1, 2, 3 up to 7, the positive integers, and see which ones are relatively prime to 8. Why we are doing this, I will tell you in chapter 1. But right now, let's just be familiar with it. Look at the GCD of 1 and 8. GCD of 1 and 8 is 1. GCD of 2 and 8 is 2. GCD of 3 and 8 is 1. GCD of 4 and 8 is 4. GCD of 5 and 8 is 1. GCD of 6 and 8 is 2. GCD of 7 and 8 is 1. I am taking the GCD of every positive integer from 1 up to 7 with this suffix over here. In this example it is 8. So I have taken the GCD of each one of them with 8. And then I identify the ones that are relatively prime to 8. So it's 1, 3, 5 and 7. So we say that 1 bar, 3 bar, 5 bar and 7 bar, these are going to be special. These are called as prime residue classes. These are called as prime residue classes of integers modulo 8. In general, we can also have prime residue classes of integers modulo n. Now, if I look at the set of prime residue classes, it will be denoted by Z8 star. Now, I am aware that this notation could cause some confusion, because in our very first lecture of chapter 0, where we set up the notation, we had agreed that if I use this notation star as a superscript, it will mean non-zero elements in that set. But we will make an exception to this notation for the set Zn. If I write Z8 star, this will denote set of residue classes of integers modulo 8. This set is also going to be important to us. Dear students, there is a correction that I would like to make. in the video by mistake I have written Z8 star is set of residue classes of integers modulo 8. That's not correct. The correct statement is Z8 star is set of prime residue classes of integers modulo 8. So please make that correction and then proceed. So if I were to list the elements in this set, it will be 1 bar, 3 bar, 5 bar, 7 bar. What I want you all to do as an exercise is to find out what is Z9 star and what is Z10 star. So pause the video, because if you keep it to a later stage, it will remain as an exercise forever. So pause the video. While all this is still fresh, go ahead and calculate the elements, the set of prime residue classes of integers modulo 9, and do the same thing for 10 so that you get an idea. Once you are done, come back to the video and we will discuss one last point. So we had agreed to write, use the notation superscript star for Zn to indicate that it is the set of residue classes of integers. Then we would like to know how many elements are there in Zn star, because I will require this at a slightly later stage. Now remember which elements are going into Z8 star. Here you have an example before you. We are putting only the prime residue classes inside Z8 star. And which are the prime residue classes? These are the positive integers less than 8, which are relatively prime to 8. In general, which will be the elements in Zn star? They will be the set of prime residue classes of integers modulo 8. Means they will be precisely those integers less than n, which are relatively prime to n. And if you are aware, there is a function called as the Euler phi function, which counts precisely the same thing. It tells you how many positive integers are there less than n and relatively prime to n. Of course, in this case, you define phi of 1 separately as 1. So, as an exercise, I want you all to look up the definition of the Euler phi function, and for certain, especially where the number gets large, how do you do the calculations for phi of n? And with that, we have completed our chapter on preliminaries, the very first chapter. This chapter has totally 8 lectures, and I think it's a worthwhile investment in terms of knowledge to go through chapter 0, even if you feel that you are familiar with all this that you have done, since this has been covered in first year algebra class. Still, it's better to go through all 12 lectures, and at any stage of the actual course, chapter 1 onwards, if you feel that there is something that you need to recollect, then you can always come back to that video. I have labeled, I have put the topic names at the beginning of every video. So you could just go back to that video and revise at any stage. So next time when we meet, we will start with the proper course, that is chapter 1. Thank you.